we will join this laptop or our Windows machine to our domain controller. Let's create a new step. 5. Join the machines. Join the machine with domain controller. Now we will perform this action. So let's go back to the server. In the server, if we go to the Active Directory users and computers, expand users, we have created the user Alex, right? So now what we will be doing, we will be joining the machine with this user that we have created in the Active Directory. So let's jump onto the machine. So now we are in a Windows 10 machine, right? So what we can do is we can search for CMD and we can check if we have a good communication with the domain controller. So let's ping the domain controller with the IP 10.0.0.4. So let's hit enter. So we can see that we are getting the reply from our domain controller. Now ping the name of the domain controller. Now we will ping this. So we have verified that we are also getting the response from dazzlecloudsystem.com and we are getting the response from 10.0.0.4. Now let's join this machine to the domain controller. Now we can search about PC. So it will open a wizard. Click on rename this PC advanced. Click on change. You have the two options, domain and work group. If we want to join this machine to a domain, let's select the domain and provide the domain name. We can click OK. Now we need to provide the user that we have created in our Active Directory, that is Alex. So computer name, domain changes. So what we gonna do is we will provide the name Alex and provide the password. Click OK. So it says welcome to the dazzlecloud.com. Click OK. And it will require a restart of the machine. We will click OK and click on close. Restart now. Now we have joined the machine with the domain controller. Now we have completed the on-premises infrastructure. We have a very small infrastructure because we are using it for the testing, but the bigger organization have thousands of users, hundreds of users, and we have set up an on-premises environment by configuring a domain controller, promoting it to the domain controller role, creating user, joining machine to the domain. This setup represents a on-premises Active Directory environment. Now the organization decided to move to the cloud. Now the organization has decided to move to Azure to leverage its resources and services. To extend the capabilities of existing AD environment to the cloud, we will sync the on-premises identity to the Azure Active Directory using the AD Connect or Intra AD Connect. This integration seamlessly identity synchronization and a way for a hybrid identity solutions. So To synchronize the identity from the on-premises to Azure AD, our next step is to download the Azure AD Connect or the Entra ID Connect. So what we're gonna do is we will download the Azure AD Connect on the domain controller to make the synchronization happen between the on-premises and cloud. Let's go back to the server. I'm logged back into the server. I'm going to download the AD Connect. Let's go to the Internet Explorer. Google.com. So here I can type download AD Connect. You will find a link. Download the Microsoft Entra Connect from official Microsoft download. Let's click on it. And this is the version that I need to download. Click on download. And I can save this. AD Connect is downloaded. Now we need to run the package. Click on run. Once the AD Connect is downloaded, let's click on the Azure AD Connect. Let's click on I agree to the license and terms. Click on continue. You will find the two options, customize, use express setting. Use express setting is a very fast setting and it is the by default settings for the AD Connect. We are going to use the customize settings. So let's click on customize. We do not want to use any of these settings. So let's click on install. On this page, we do have some options like password hash synchronization, pass-through authentication, federation with ADFS, federation with the ping federate, do not configure. Password hash synchronization is PHS. PHS is a feature of Azure AD Connect that allow the organization to synchronize the password hashes of the user account from the on-premises Active Directory to the Azure Active Directory. This enables users to sign in into the Azure AD services like Microsoft Office 365 using the same credentials they use for the on-premises. Pass-through authentication is known as PTA. PTA is a feature of Azure AD Connect that allow the users to authenticate against their on-premises Active Directory when accessing the cloud services like Microsoft 365. Instead of syncing password hashes to the Azure AD, PTA validates the user credential directly against the on-premises Active Directory domain controller. So we can enable the single sign-on as well and click on next. Here you need to provide the Azure AD global admin credentials, or you can provide a credential of the user who is an administrator of Azure Active Directory who can perform all the administrative tasks in Azure AD. So I'm using the global admin credentials. So I need to click on next. Here the modern authentication will pop up and I need to log in again over here to verify. I need to enter the password. So I need to authenticate it from my phone. So it automatically takes my domain. So I need to click on add directory and I need to provide an admin credentials for the domain controller. So I'm going to provide, so I have provided the admin credentials over here. I'm clicking OK. The directory is added successfully. Then I need to click on next. Here you need to select your domain, click next. I have already verified this domain in the Azure cloud. So that's why I'm getting Microsoft Entra ID domain is verified, and select the on-premises attribute to use the Microsoft Entra ID username. So we will be using the user principal name, which will be used in the Azure Active Directory. Click on next. You will have the two options: sync all domains and OUs, sync the selected domains and OUs. So we will be proceeding with sync all domains and OUs. Click on next. Synchronize all the users and devices. Click on next and click next. So in the optional features, password hash synchronization is selected. You can select the password right back. That means if you want to change the password in Azure Active Directory, and that can be right back to your on-premises Active Directory. If you want that feature, you can enable the password right back. So we can click on that as well and click on next. Provide the domain credentials and it will give you a green tick over here, and click on next. It is ready to configure, and configure synchronization services on this computer, enable single sign-on, configure the source anchor attribute, configure this domain, configure dieselcloudsystem.com connector, enable password hash, enable password write back, enable Microsoft Entra ID export deletion threshold is. Start synchronizing the process when the configuration complete. Let's click on install. Now the configuration is completed. Let's click on exit. Let's go back to the Azure portal and see the users that we have created in on-premises is synced to the Azure cloud or not. We'll go to the Microsoft Entra ID, users, and I can see that Alex Dawn is synchronized to the cloud and it is an on-premises user. Yes, and the email that it is using is alex at the dieselcloudsystem.com. So this means that if you create a user in the on-premises, that user is also synced to the cloud. Now, what we need to do is let's assign a license to this user. Once the license is assigned, then we will try to log in with this user into the portal.office.com, so we can see that if user is able to use their portal or not. So to assign a license, let's go to the license. As you already know, we cannot assign the license from here. So I do see that this the license is already assigned. So let's go to the Microsoft Admin Center and verify. Let's go to the user, active user, and then select this user, license and apps. So the license is already assigned. So let's try to log in with this user. I have opened an in private window. Let's go to the portal.office.com. Now you need to log in with alex at the rate dazzlecloudsystem.com, and here you need to enter the password which you have created in the on-premises, and let's see if you are able to log in or not. Ask later. So yes, now we are logged into our portal. That means the identity is successfully synchronized to the Azure. Let's quickly recap. We created a domain controller, install the ADDS service on that domain controller, and promote that server to a domain controller. We created a user in the domain controller for the identity. To enable access to the Azure services, we installed and configured the Azure AD Connect to synchronize the on-premises identity to the cloud. So we have installed the Azure AD and configured it successfully. The user we created in on-premises is successfully migrated to the Azure AD, and this user is able to access all the services of Azure using the same password that he is using in his on-premises Active Directory. That's all for today's video. If you have any question, feel free to leave a comment. I will do my best to answer them. If there is a specific topic you'd like to explain, let me know. I will consider and creating a video on it. If you find this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe and share. Happy learnings with Azure.